Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ballet Rain. Your most trusted, very favorite ballet nerds on the internet are back to provide you with your recommended dose of ballet tricks.
Every ballet has that one or sometimes multiple sections of the ballet where the dancers get to show off just a little bit while the audience is kept on the edge of their seats holding their breath the entire time.
We've done a video on the most famous trick sections from famous ballets before. Video linked above and below if you want to watch it after this one. And since that video, y'all have been crying, please feed us more ballet trick sections.
Yes.
So we're back heroically with 5 more. And we are going to break them all down with you guys so that you can see just how incredible they really are.
If you're ready for the video, then make sure you tap the like button and also swipe over a little bit and tap the hype button as well. It helps us a lot. And let's get going.
Let's do it. Starting strong with number 1, and this is from one of my favorite pas de deux of all time.
This is the classic of all classics. If someone ever asked you what the most traditionally classical ballet pas de deux is, the Sleeping Beauty wedding pas de deux.
Oh, for sure.
This is notoriously difficult, extremely technical, and it's not like you can cover it up with like super fancy storytelling or artistry.
Or melodrama.
No melodrama. There are queens and kings here.
Yep.
We're all very,
it's gotta be.
It is just pure ballet.
Sleeping Beauty wedding pas de deux, classic of all classics. And this moment is towards the end of the pas de deux, sort of the big climax of the pas de deux. And this trick section that we are talking about today is the famous diagonal of partnered pirouettes into the iconic fish dive.
Basically what happens is she's, does a piqué and then she does a little whip turn into an en dedans pirouette, which is already very, very difficult. And then straight into the fish.
Straight into the fish, which means he's holding her, both of her feet are off the ground. She's like face to the floor, almost. In this beautiful long fish dive position.
For an added difficulty, which I think makes it even more iconic when the danseur can do this entire passage one-handed. If the danseur can partner her and go into that fish with just one hand.
That's true. It's insane. Yeah.
That is insane, you guys.
Honestly, this passage is just, it's
incredible.
Daring. And
it is so daring.
From the ballerina's perspective, I haven't done this specific section from the pas de deux, but I have practiced the pirouette into the
passage,
And they always told the ballerina, or like they always told like the girl, you have to
go for it.
They always said, you can't hesitate, you can't hold back, otherwise he will not physically be able to get you into that fish position.
You have to give him the momentum to tip yourself forward because you are already on your leg in your turn. He's already stopping you, but you're the one who has to dive forward.
He's in contact with you the whole time, but momentum-wise, you're the one who has to instigate that change, that switch from vertical to there.
Yeah, and so they always say, don't hesitate, don't hold back, just take the lead.
He has to be really confident with where you are. You have to just trust that he's got you, and then just boom.
The musicality helps as well if you're kind of like on the same wavelength in terms of the musicality, but ultimately it's just feeling each other and obviously rehearse together a lot. I think another added level of difficulty though is that you don't just do it once. You do it
3 times.
3 times on the diagonal. When you do a trick like this multiple times, it's not you're competing with yourself for the previous time, but
you almost are.
It gives yourself a standard. And if you can nail it every single time, or even make it a little bit smoother or a little bit more confident, as you keep going.
And you can't psych yourself out after the first 2. You can't be like, yes, we did it. You have to be like, all right, we did it. And then you just go to the second one, all right, we did it. The third one, then you can be like, good job.
You cannot get too excited too quick. You definitely have to keep a level head, stay very, very present and very grounded.
And that's sort of the trick with, honestly, any consecutive thing. In ballet, you can't psych yourself out.
No.
You just have to say, okay, I did it. Okay, I did it. Okay, I did it. And at the end, then you can tell yourself, well done.
And you don't get to scream until you get down to your dressing room or when you get home.
Yeah.
Then you can pull out the party poppers and
I got it! I did it!
But in the moment, it's okay, I've done it, next. Hey, I've done it, next.
Yeah.
Okay, I've done it, next. Well done. Next section. I think honestly that's one of the most iconic moments in general, aside from the 32 fouettes, of course. Those are like
those are just iconic.
Those are just the 32 fouettes. They're on another level. But this is
pirouette into the fish dive. And with the music, it's magic.
Yeah.
We'll let you watch it right now.
this one is much slower.
Slowing it way down.
Way slower. A lot of the times our trick sections in ballet are very splashy,
Like
kind of like
think
explosive.
fuetes, entrechasses, turns,
Exactly.
jumps.
This one is much slower, but also much longer, so it's an endurance game. But it is equally iconic, and it was even considered Petipa's masterpiece. So, that's saying a lot.
I think some of our hardcore ballet nerds already know what we're talking about.
This is the entrance of the shades from La Bayadere, and this number is incredibly long. And
This entire entrance, which is like 10 minutes, 8 minutes?
something like
Something
that.
like that. That entire thing is a trick section in and of itself.
What I love about this moment is that instead of like, you know, a solo or like a pas de deux or anything like that, this one is a collective ensemble trick step.
The entire corps de
The
ballet
entire corps de ballet.
has to collectively be so strong
Yes.
to pull this trick section off together.
Exactly.
And if even one dancer stumbles, the whole thing falls apart.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Generally, there are anywhere from 24 to 32, sometimes even more dancers, depending on the company. But basically, the passage is an arabesque into a penché, and then a tomlier back, and a little cambre back, and then 2 steps. And you do it again. You do it down a ramp, sometimes 2 ramps, depending on your stage. And then you just continue doing it forward, kind of zigzagging as you come down stage.
And this is a game of attrition, you guys.
That's really what it is.
It is a
here.
game of attrition. Will you kill the penchés or will the penchés kill you?
Exactly. And the thing is that the passage is so easy. Anyone could do this passage. Even, you know, intermediate students.
Like an intermediate
An
student.
intermediate student could easily do this particular step. The problem is the endurance.
Yeah.
The problem is the ramp. The
The
problem
ramp.
is the timing and the
Yeah.
synchronicity amongst all the dancers. But when they can do it, it is absolutely breathtaking.
It's stunning.
Actually, we did a whole commentary on
We
this
did.
number. We kind of touched on it in that video, but there is nothing to hide behind.
Yeah.
This one, you're in a white costume against a black background, so the contrast is like it will emphasize any little stumbles you make. The music is so quiet and so slow. So if you are kind of wobbling, or if you're kind of ahead of the music, or if you're a little behind the music, it really stands out. You're also 1 in 24 or 32 or whatever
In neat little lines.
in neat little lines. So if you're slightly out of line, if you're slightly ahead of the others or slightly behind the others, it's going to be magnified times 10.
Yeah.
And so this is so hard, not just for each individual, but just like for the group as a whole.
The piece is on every single dancer's shoulders.
It's a lot of
individually
weight.
to support this one scene.
It really is.
And when it's done well, it is magic.
Yeah.
It is absolute pure
It's magic.
But it is, even just to get one passage perfect, is so much. And not only that, but they have to keep it up for like, I think it's 39 repetitions of the same passage. So like when you're getting tired, you still can't stumble.
No.
You still can't be out of line.
No.
You still can't be ahead of the music.
No.
You have to maintain that level of perfection
Yes.
for the entire entrance.
The entire
and you're going down
entrance.
a ramp, and you're zigzagging, you're changing directions.
And then when you're done, you just beret for the rest of the number.
Yeah, and you beret for the rest of the number.
Yes, your back is dying at the end of it, especially if you're the first girl on. The first girl has it the hardest.
Our hearts go out to all of the first shades.
If you have been the first shade, please let us know so we can all congratulate you,
You
on
literally-
making it through, because you carried.
Yeah.
And you did a great job.
And you need a badge of honor. Obviously, we're not going to play the entire entrance of the shades for you
No,
after this, but we
no.
are going to play a section of it because it's just magic. It's one of those trick sections that aren't traditionally called a trick section. But I think the corps de ballet has to absolutely carry here.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the most impressive things you can do as a dancer.
Agreed.
Humble opinion. Moving right along, we have another male dancer trick section. And this is from, again, also from the Sleeping Beauty,
You're right.
but this is from the Bluebird pas de deux.
Yes.
Specifically, the coda.
And I think because of this one section, the role of the Bluebird is deemed one of the hardest male roles in the ballet repertoire. ever.
His variation in and of itself is so hard.
Yeah, I
by
love
the
his
way.
variation.
The bluebird variation, stunning.
So
Love
good.
it.
So
Beautiful.
good. Yeah.
But the coda is where things really, really shine. Obviously,
Yes.
because he's the bluebird,
He needs to fly.
he's got to fly.
He needs
got
to soar.
He needs to flutter a little bit.
Yes, he
And
does.
so what he does, entrance, beginning of the coda, comes out, you know, beautiful, hits it right away with a diagonal of straight brise volley.
I think a lot of our dancers will know what the brise is, which basically you brush and you do a beat front and back and you close.
Yep.
But in the brise volley, you brush, you beat, and then you have to land on one foot this time, and then you brush and brise back this time, and
Yeah.
you land in coupe.
So you have front, land on one leg,
Yes,
brush,
brush
back, land on one
on
leg.
one leg.
And he does that 1 and a 2. Well, it's technically 1 and back, and 2 and back, and 3 and back, all the way across the stage.
He does about 10 or 12 of them across, depending on the version, depending on the choreography. But regardless,
Dancers, if you know, you know, brise volley is one of the more hated ballet steps.
It
Actually, I do
is.
think we mentioned them in one of our personal opinion of our hardest ballet steps.
steps.
Ages ago, by the way. We were so young. It is hard because you have to kind of launch yourself into the air from one leg.
You're launching
Make
off of one leg, the beat has to happen, and at the same time, your center of balance is going back and forth. For context, for our non-dancers, a lot of ballet is up and down. The legs will do whatever, the arms will do whatever,
And
but
the
you're
center.
generally on your axis. For brise volley, you're going actually
Yeah.
way forward, and for the brise volley back, the weight comes the opposite direction. And he has which is beautiful in the choreography because he kind of has this whole like wing action.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
feet kind of like the way the birds would. It makes sense for the role, and it's very sensible choreographically. But it is very hard because you're throwing your weight forward and back, and the legs have to keep that
Yes.
rhythm going with the music.
Especially to find that airtime that you
Yes.
need as the bluebird. You can't just do a small brise. You can't do a small,
No.
like modest brise volley.
No,
You
no.
gotta soar. You have to brush that leg. You have to beat it in the cleanest, most pristine, exquisite beats you can possibly manage.
Yes.
And you need to fly with
Yes.
the upper body
Yeah.
as you're going back and forth. It has to have that lightness and that freedom, I think.
He's a bird. He can't look like he's too grounded.
Yeah.
He can't look like he's being restrained by gravity. He has to look like
It's the most natural thing.
This is as
Yeah.
natural as walking for him, and so I think that's the hard
That's
part
the
there. It
difficulty.
can't look labored.
I will say though, arguably, if you can hit it right, rhythmically and coordination wise, that bending
It helps
is what
you.
launches you.
It does help you
and
if
also
you can time it right.
if you brush this leg really strong and you brush it high.
Yes.
High-ish. That really helps with the breathes. If
Yeah.
you brush that leg really strong, really high, and then you use your body to help
Yes.
launch you into the air. It's a coordination issue.
It is a
But
coordination thing.
when you look at all of the most amazing bluebirds, you can
Yes.
all see them with that specific coordination. And oh my goodness, it's breathtaking.
It's incredible.
It makes you sit back and you're like, I'm so glad I'm not doing that.
The next one is for the girls.
Oh yeah, we did pas de deux, corps de ballet, male dancer, ballerina.
Ballerina, and the next one is going to be. This one is from Giselle, and this is the transformation scene.
Ooh,
so
yes.
it is from Act 2, so the light act, and this is Giselle's first appearance in this act.
For context, she has died, and she is being summoned out of her grave by the wheelies, and she is sort of being what's the word? Initiated.
Yeah, initiated into the ranks.
Into the ranks of a wheelie.
Yeah.
Which are obviously our men killing ghost girls.
Exactly.
Very fun times. The average night out with the girls.
This particular number is a very contrasting statement, I think we could call it, in this number, because everything so far in this act has been very reverent,
Slow.
very slow. And even leading up to this moment when she actually, comes out of her grave and Mirta's kind of like summoning her, it's also very slow, and it's very eerie. But then the dynamic completely flips almost instantaneously, and we have this incredible sequence of little, I guess you could call them hops, in an attitude back. And this is sort of to represent her spirit being sort of
Transformed.
transformed, I suppose you could say.
From like average ghost to like wheelie TM.
Exactly.
And this is like rapid fire hops.
Yeah,
the music, it goes dun 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 dun.
Like that is fast.
It's crazy fast, and she's turning as well.
Yes,
It's all on tournant rapidly.
Yes.
That's like the best way I can describe it. Rapidly.
Rapidly.
I think what makes this hard is not necessarily the hops themselves.
No.
I will say arguably it's one of the easier tricks. Okay. I'm not gonna say that, but I am gonna say that. Subjectively easier just because you're in a plie on that supporting leg, your leg is bent.
You are on flat.
And you're hopping and you're on flat.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit more calibration room so that if you're a little off balance, you can kind of micro adjust just a little bit easier. But I will say the trick is the part that makes it difficult and the part that makes it convincing is if you can't hop too much, you have to keep it smooth.
It's not a promenade, but when you think about doing this step, it's almost like you're doing a promenade.
Yeah. You can't have this happening. You just have to spin and you're just kind of hopping just barely off the ground, just enough to turn. And also with the hops, the additional thing is you can't let the rest of your body react to those hops. You can't let the arms drop. You're here. It just has to be seamless.
The other thing with this is that you can't really spot.
Oh yes, you don't spot. That makes it difficult.
Spot. That does make it difficult. Well, for the dancers, because we're used to spotting. I mean, our figure skaters are like...
Our figure skaters are like skill issue.
Exactly. But for the dancers, we're used to spotting for our fast turn. So for the dancers, it is a little bit more of a challenge as well. Because you're just here. Yeah, you just stay here. And you're just going around. That's a little extra little nuance that kind of makes this turn very unique. You really have to find where your center of balance is and then also just stay there for the entire duration, because the moment you start kind of getting off of your center, you start to drift. Yeah. Which kind of, it doesn't ruin the effect, but it is a lot cleaner visually when you can kind of stay in one place more or less. And also, so you don't spin out or like lose your balance and stuff like that.
Or lose momentum and you just don't turn as fast as you need to.
Yeah, exactly.
Because again, rapidly, you guys.
You need to be rapturous.
Yeah.
You need to be spectacular. Yeah. It needs to look supernatural. Yeah. This is very much a supernatural experience. Yeah. In terms of the story, in terms of like the moment itself.
It's otherworldly, superhuman,
it
like
can't look
paranormal.
Human. It can't look human. If you are slowing, if you're kind of drifting, it kind of, all those things will kind of pull away from that. So you need to really lock in and just stay in it. Yeah. And just like really commit. To it.
There's a range for speed, but like the faster you can go, the better.
The faster you can go, the better, because again, supernatural effect. We want it. It's very fleeting, but
it's only how many counts? Yeah, like 12 counts.
Yeah, that's it.
It's only 12 counts, really. And then after that, you do the little bourrée en tournant and then sauté to the corner. But in those 12 counts, the entire transformation takes place, and you need to absolutely steal the audience's breath away. But when it's done well, it's probably one of my favorite sections of all of Giselle.
She takes your breath away, and it's just like next thing, and you're like, and you're like, I haven't caught up yet. We're gonna let you watch it because we already yapped a lot about it. We're just gonna let you have a look and enjoy it for yourself.
The final moment, we are going back to another pas de deux. I think this is on the opposite end of the pas de deux spectrum energetically from Sleeping Beauty.
Definitely.
We go from very regal, poised, royal, queenly, kingly, all the way over to the other side of the spectrum where it's like showmanship and charisma and tricks, you know, confident and charismatic and slightly flippantly smug in the most affectionate way possible.
Of course.
This, of course,
Don Quixote.
Is Don Quixote.
Yes. This particular pas de deux is from Act 1, and this is definitely one of those showstopper moments
for sure
of the ballet.
And what this moment is specifically is a series of really massive lifts. And it's not just a big lift, it is a massive lift.
A massive lift.
Because Kitri and Basilio come out. Our main, she got a tambourine. Everyone's clapping.
You know it's gonna be good if she has a tambourine.
And everyone's not just clapping, slow clapping.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Like it's. They're coming. So then we have a big tommy pas de bourrée, assemblée, and all the way up to a giant press lift and a giant développé side, écarté back.
Yeah, écarté.
Tambourine over her head, and then he has her up above his head. She's over here like this.
And the trick from there, the lift is already great, but the trick from there is that ideally, if he's got her, he has to let go of one hand. She's supposed to shake that tambourine. The drum roll is supposed to go as long as they can hold it. And as long as they can hold it, is as long as they can hold it. And there is no specific time.
Yeah.
Like there's no musicality for this section.
Just
the
hold the darn lift.
The conductor is watching them, and he'll just have the music pause until they're ready, but the longer they can hold it, the better. Most of the time nowadays, they do it twice. Sometimes on the same side, sometimes right and left. Other versions though, like if you're Nureyev, of course, you're going to do it 4 times.
Yes.
So you're gonna fit 2 in the same time as you would do 1. It's just to show off. It's like not even the orchestra is gonna tell us to keep going because we're just gonna defy the odds, the conductors, gravity, everything.
Yeah.
We don't care. It's kind of like
It's a hold the lift to assert dominance type of thing.
That's exactly what it is, and that so fits in with their sort of characters within the larger scope of the ballet. As we've said several times before, they're very, very careless, but like in a very fun-loving sort of like, you only live once, you know,
like it's a very carpe diem approach to life.
It's very much that. They're just here to mess around and have a good time, and that energy carries over into this lift because they're just showing off.
Yeah.
They're just having fun. They're just risking it because what else is there to lose, you know?
Live fast, die young kind of vibe.
Exactly, that's sort of the vibe.
It's the one time where the dancers dictate the music.
Exactly.
Most of the time, the music leads and the dancers are ushered along, escorted gently by the music.
Or not so gently, but yes.
Yeah, that's true. Escorted gently or manhandled by the music. But in this one moment, the dancers take charge. As long as you can hold that lift, that's as long as you maintain control of the music. Control over the extras on the stage. They're all waiting. The girls are shaking their tambourines in the back. The audience is holding their breath. And for that one suspended moment, you as the dancer, total control. You have them eating out of the palm of your hand. Everyone's eyes are on you in that moment. And it is like a breath hold, just like... It's like time stops.
If you're Vasiliev, of course you're going to go on your releve. Of course you're gonna lift one leg to arabesque while she's up there.
You're literally holding her one hand.
Yeah,
both
of
his
you.
and hers only contact with the ground
Is the ball of his foot.
Demi point, you guys. If that's not like the ultimate flex, I don't know what is. It is like the ultimate power move.
It's like it's a power move. That's really what it is in essence.
This is what this is.
I'm not even mad. Yes, they're showing off. It's a little bit arrogant.
It's flashy.
I'm not even mad though.
Not even.
Have a look. Those are 5 more iconic trick steps from the classical ballet repertoire, as brought to you by us truly. Hopefully this video can help you see why these steps are as infamous and as well loved as they are, and kind of shows you what kind of goes on behind the scenes and what makes them so incredibly difficult and also so very rewarding to perform and to watch.
Hopefully this encourages you to go actually see more ballets.
Do it.
Go find your ballets in your area. See if you can find all of these moments either on YouTube or supporting your local ballet.
Yes, do that.
And report back with your findings.
If you liked the video, you know what to do. Like the video, hype the video, and if you would like to be a part of Ballet Rain's road to 100K, then feel free to subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already, because we'd be so happy to have you as a part of the Ballet Nerds.
We want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has made this video possible, e.g. our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for helping us to continue making the top-notch Ballet Nerd content for all of the ballet nerds around the world.
Thank you.
And if you guys would like to support more ballet nerd shenanigans in your near future, then you can click the link in the description box below, or you can visit patreon.com/balletrain, and we would be so happy to catch you over there. And anyways, I think that is all from us for now. This is Ballet Rain signing off. Until the next video.
Bye.
Sometimes you guys don't know exactly what goes on behind the camera. For instance, I have reindeer socks on, but you would never know that. Michelangelo in the building. The real MVP. Never acts up for us. He's remarkably well behaved, unlike some people we know.
Cameron, sorry.
Cameron!
So sorry. I must have choked.
What? We're rolling.
Sorry.
You can't laugh at it unless you're ready to share it with the class. Jordan. Because now the audience is gonna be like, what is she laughing at?
That's just something Ethan sent me, obviously.
We're back to give you your daily dose of ballet tricks.
Daily.
Yes, because you need to consume some ballet tricks every day. Otherwise you will wither away and die. I thought they were bumblebees, but they're not. They're just yellow flowers. I love bees. They're actually the sweetest, most adorable animals.
I saved one the other day, actually.
You saved one?
I did.
Aw. And like if you just sit there and like they're like a bunch of flowers or whatever and there are bees all around, like they will just let you be.
Yeah.
No pun intended. They will leave you alone.
Eden.
They will not bother you, is what I meant to say.